All right, we're live. Uh, Episode 11 of Paper and Plastic with your hosts here every week. Myself, Pop and Sloth, and Dr. Plagus, and we're joined by a special guest today. Man, doc, Doctor, you do the little introduction here. I feel like you got something prepared, don't you?
Not really, but I mean it's pretty easy. We got Nick from Comic Culture here. Um, I've been watching his content for at least a year, maybe longer. Kind of found out about him through uh Blame Fable and his amazing friends
Hmm.
and the whole gang over there. Um, Puts out 3 pieces of YouTube content a week, sometimes more. And just what I really admire about Nick is his ability to break down and explain books. It's
Mm.
super inspiring to me. I I really want to get to a point where I can do that as well. I'm not great at it. I famously choked on my first book review, which was of a friend's book, which makes it even worse. And
Oh,
ever since then,
yeah.
I've kind of been determined to, get better at this. So yeah, I
Yeah.
watch Nick a lot and try to learn from him. And yeah, we're super excited to have him on the show tonight.
Man, guys, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be on here, and I've been following you guys for a little while now, and you guys are doing a really good work, and I'm so glad you guys spun this up and you've been doing it for so long. It'll be a year before you know it, for sure. You'll hit that 100 episode before you know it, guys, and you guys are
Yeah.
killing it. So I really appreciate you inviting me, and I just can't wait to hang with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so and Doctor, you also you sent me over a post today that you wanted to have a quick moment for off the top of the show here. Just
Yeah. Kind of on the topic of, channels and putting out this content that we do. I think a lot of us probably don't even exist in this realm without Mr. Pisker here. And, you know, he was a comic book artist, but, during COVID, him and a good buddy of his, Jim Rugg, started putting out comic book content, breakdowns of books, illustrating just tons and tons of content like daily. um and they just built a community. Most everyone's gonna know who they were, but anyways, yeah, a year ago today, actually, we lost him, and so I just kind of wanted to, show a picture of him and pay some homage to him because, yeah, like I said, a lot of us don't exist in this realm without him and the work that he's done. And, um, I think Nick and Eric, you guys recently did a book breakdown, and that was kind of one of the first ones you've done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we've been doing some book breakdowns, but we're trying to collaborate a little bit more, and that's that kayfabe kind of a style in a way,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
they've kind of developed a style, Jim and Ed,
Yeah.
going through some stuff, but they have that real artist perspective where they can break down the methodology behind everything, talk about the craft of making it, and they know a lot about history. Ed was really a historian in comics themselves. Like he knew where everybody was from, who they collaborated with. He knew who the editor was at some random year at some random publisher. Like he
Hmm.
really knew his stuff, and
Yeah.
you could really tell. It came across in the videos. But yeah, to your point, we kind of copied that style a little bit, and we focus more on the story and the art. But we like to steal some of their lingo from time to time. So yeah,
Sure.
great teachers for us too.
Yeah, and what I really liked about Ed is he had some like a real edge to him, right? Like very very rebellious and would kind of just wouldn't hesitate to talk a little shit, but it was
Yeah.
like harmless too. It was like in a jokingly way. It wasn't like, maybe he was going to offend some people, but it wasn't meant to be taken that way. Um and I really connect with that. As far as the two go, I love both guys, but I don't know, I just really, I have a little edge to me too. I'm covered in tattoos, and I, come from the graffiti world, which is kind of a pretty rugged hobby to be in. and then coming, kind of entering this comic book community. Sometimes I feel a little out of place, and he kind of, I relate to him a lot, and so yeah. And also too, like you were saying about just his knowledge for comic books. I don't know. I'm sure people have noticed, but I loved watching him look at comics. Like, you could just see this dude is in heaven. The way he's just looking
Yeah.
at the pages and the art, like, I don't know, just yeah, just really, really unfortunate that we don't have him anymore. But really grateful for all the content that he put out. My YouTube, when I'm watching, like your content, like I'll watch your unboxing video today. The next video that will default, and I love this, it'll just be a random cartoonist kayfabe video. And I mean, I could just sit at home all day long and watch their stuff. So, um, rest in peace to Ed Pisker. And yeah, we couldn't do the show without paying some homage to him.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I guess we can kind of dive right into it. There's been a lot of stuff coming out in the last few weeks. Um,
Mhm.
Man, there's been so many so many toy reveals that we might be able to get to at later on in the show. But there's been a lot of comic stuff coming out. A lot of really good reads. I guess we want to start off the bat. Nick, is there anything that really has just been jumping out to you in the comic world as a maybe a bit of a sleeper book?
Ooh, as a sleeper book, I know. Well, the last couple of weeks have been really huge. So I'm looking at my list right now, just kind of going through some of my most recent favorite books that have come out, specifically from last week. The Absolute line has been pretty solid, I think. Absolute Martian Manhunter was a great one from last week. I think Dennis Camp on that one. Absolute Wonder Woman's my second favorite there. The Seasons has been really good too. It's a little bit of a slow burn, right? I would consider it a little bit of a slow burn. It's not that in your face action packed kind of a book, but it's more about family drama, a lot of mystery, a lot of chaos. And Paul Ezeketa's art's incredible on that book too. So that's a great one. But I mean, We're Taking Everyone Down With Us was another great one that came out. Matthew Rosenberg. I don't know if you guys saw that one. That was an interesting one about a little girl and her father, and he's kind of a mad scientist, and there's robots and things like that. And there's a lot of mystery and some secret agencies after them and everything. And she's uncovering the truth behind all of this. So those have been pretty solid books too. And but I think one of my favorite sleeper books, though, now that I'm looking at my list a little bit more, Space Ghost. I think Space Ghost from Dynamite is probably the biggest surprise aside from Conan, because I wasn't a Conan fan growing up. I think Space Ghost is probably one of the best books out right now that not a whole lot of people are talking about. It's from Dynamite. It's got a lot of crazy shipping issues through Diamond and everything right now, but maybe they're going to figure all that out. But that book has been incredible. David Papo's on that one, Jonathan Lau, and it's been amazing. If you have a little bit of coast to coast knowledge, you can ride through that pretty easily. I would say they hit a lot of the heavy hitters as far as villains go. Interior artwork's great and the story is very solid. So I think Space Ghost is probably one of the best sleepers, I think, that is out there right now.
I've been hearing you say that for a few weeks now, and I'm kicking myself because I think I dropped off of that after issue 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last few weeks I've heard you, not just you, I think maybe even Eric said that.
I got him on it eventually. He wasn't reading. So it's a funny story about that. I wasn't reading Power Fantasy and he was, and I was reading Space Ghost and he wasn't. And so we kind of traded on that. Okay, I'll take the bullet and read yours. You take the bullet and read mine. And we ended up both loving them, both of them. So yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
I'm going to have to track down the what issue are they on now?
Probably not 10 now. It's 10, okay. I think.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get on that.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
One thing that really kills me about your content is a lot of the indie stuff that you recommend. Mm-hmm. I famously don't get access to a lot of that through my LCS, and that it can be pretty expensive. Bringing all this in from online distributors, so it's a bummer to hear about all this good stuff that I'm missing out on. And occasionally I get my hands on some of it, but there's a lot that I don't, sadly.
Yeah. Well, I tend to read mostly the majority of my reads are more Image. Like DC and Marvel equal the same amount of space that Image does. So like,
Yeah.
I read a lot of Image books, and then there's some Mad Cave and some other stuff thrown in there as well. But the whole distribution thing is a mess right now, so it's really putting a wrench in a lot of my indie game. But luckily, Image is relatively solid when it's week to week. So yeah.
Yeah, and I loved Coast to Coast growing up.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
I was gonna say I know Space Ghost is from something. I just wasn't sure. It's an old cartoon, right?
Yeah. So it was an old cartoon, and I'm sure there's other properties out there related to Space Ghost. But yeah, you can find those old cartoons still on YouTube and Coast to Coast. Coast to Coast is more clipped up inside of YouTube. You could probably find some of the old cartoons and whatnot. But I was just shocked at like how much heart and emotion, and I don't know, man. It was great. Like, you think it would be hacky and dumb. There's some kids in there. Like, sometimes they're not portrayed or written very well, or they're written a really annoying way. And he's not doing that. And the art is solid. So,
and I think that's
an exciting book.
I think that was why I dropped off, was the kids got introduced, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna go.
Yeah, you know how it's gonna be, right? Yeah,
right. It's gonna go in a stupid direction. So, yeah, it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to say what's up to some of the people in the chat too. Ozzy and Zim, I see you guys. Fingers and Toes. Eric popped in. Yeah.
Got a little bit. Everybody's saying hi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to catch up on the season. Or seasons. Can't remember what it's called.
The seasons, yeah.
The seasons, yeah. I got issue 1, and I've got issue 3 sitting right here, and I gotta really catch up on those ones because it piqued my interest, but I haven't had a chance. One of those guys.
Yeah. Remender's great. Like, you can't really go wrong with him. And like I said, Paul Zucchetto on the art is crazy good too. So like I said, it's a little bit of a slow burn. We really don't know what's exactly happening even after 3 issues. And usually that 3rd issue is that issue that kind of explains a whole lot more, and really kind of, if you don't make it past the 3rd issue, you're probably not going to read it going forward. So
yeah,
if you read it and you like it, then I think you're in for the long haul. So
are you reading Falling in Love on the Path to Hell?
Yeah, that's one of I love that book. Yeah. I think the last one just came out after a little hiatus, right?
Yeah. That one I need to read that recent issue from last Wednesday, but that's one. Oh man, fantastic as well.
Yeah, it's been really good. And that's a strange book because it has so many different things to it too. It's like you're mixing cultures to begin with. Now you're throwing them in purgatory essentially, and you're fighting endless waves of fodder, right? So it's like, how do they get out? What do they do? How do they survive? What's going on the island? Who can they trust? Who do they not trust? How do they work as a couple? It's just a great mixture of everything. And it's a good example of a big 2 writer going over to an image publisher and doing their own thing at their own pace and making their own story. And it's actually good.
Yeah.
So many times a big 2 writer is just like, what are you doing, man? You're phoning it in. And then you see their independent work. You're like, oh, you are capable of good things. Look at you.
Yeah. At no point did it ever feel like too cheesy or too, it did well in every kind of aspect it was trying to do well. And that's why I appreciate it.
For sure.
Zim Man was saying, I remember watching Space Ghost on Saturday mornings. They would have him do some kind of PSA in between the show.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Man, what a time to have that kind of television.
Yeah.
So we were all kind of mentioned that we've been kind of trying to read New Gods, the recent volume of it, and I'll be honest. Issue 1, I read it when it came out. Issue 2 and 3, I read about half an hour ago.
Oh, good. It'll be fresh in your mind.
Fresh in my mind. And then I realized issue 4 is sitting here, and I forgot to read it. It was a whole thing. Issue 3, though, where and you're kind of right, where it does the thing where it starts explaining kind of like what's going on.
Yeah.
The artwork in that issue 3 was just fantastic. Specifically, that was just when I was right off the bat, the artwork stood out to me. It's just because it changes between the 2 different styles.
Right.
As the chronicler is explaining to Metron. Is that his name? Is that how you pronounce it? Metron?
Yeah, Metron. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Metron. like the kind of the backstory of these old gods. Man, it's just so cool. So I don't know anything about the new gods. I never read the original stuff, so a lot of the terms they're throwing around, I have no idea what
Right.
exactly they mean, but I kind of understood it. So I don't know what
Well,
you guys are thinking about the series so far.
yeah, I mean, Rom's doing a good job of helping out new readers, I'd say. Like, it's a hard thing to jump into that series and be new reader friendly, but I think they're doing a good job of trying to be new reader friendly. You know what I mean? They're introducing simple Earthbound conflicts, but you need to understand, or there needs to be some kind of consequence to like Darkseid not being around, and like there's these other threats out there that are taking advantage of the void, right? And they're trying to infiltrate. And like Highfather's been doing everything he can do to kind of keep things straight. And we have a prophecy on Earth. What does that mean? Orion sent to kill him, you know, and people are sent to protect them, and that's a cool dynamic. So there are easily digestible parts of the story, but inevitably, like that world is so complicated that you can get lost in the abstract a little bit. What the hell's the source? What is this wall? Who are these people? Why is that person mad at that person? Like, that's the nuance you lose as a new reader.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing a great job though. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say, from having read like the Dark Knight's death metal, where they talk about like the source wall, and they have Metron kind of embodied with Dr. Manhattan and the Flash at the same. So a couple of the ideas I've seen in other stories, which I can appreciate, it kind of feels like it's really rounding out that corner of the DC universe, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Doctor, what were you going to say?
Oh yeah, no, I'm man, that's right there is exactly why I wanted to get Nick on. That was just incredible. Like yeah, at this moment in time I could not do that. Yeah, but I'm loving it. It's really cool to have a current New God series. And I really like the direction this appears to be going.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that the issue 1 and 2 were a little slow and kind of like hard to figure out where this was going. And issue 3, they really did a good job at kind of explaining the direction that this is going. And I'm gonna read issue 4 tonight. I know we were both supposed to catch up so that we could kind of hang here with Nick on that, but we both failed that mission. So, but yeah, we were talking about like sleeper books. I feel like this is one, especially for one of the big twos.
Yep.
And maybe it's just because New Gods is so complex and not the easiest read if you're not understanding what's going on. But I think so far this has been a good one to jump into. If you are going to jump into that realm, I think you should jump onto New Gods, because it's a whole nother realm of DC as we know it. But it strays away kind of from the cliche stuff that we're all familiar with, but it's also a part of it, so yeah, really good, enjoying it a lot.
I do have a bit of a question. I'd be curious to see what you guys think, because this series obviously deals with like the absence of Darkseid, and Darkseid had a big role in like the kind of the coming to be of the absolute universe. Do we think that there's going to be some sort of maybe like more explanation to the absolute universe from this New God series? Do you think there's going to be any kind of crossover with themes or ideas, or just any kind of anything?
That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard because we don't know where Darkseid is, if I remember correctly. So he's gone somewhere. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
It's either that, or it was kind of insinuated that he was kind of the fabric of the absolute universe.
Right. Something about his disappearance made that possible somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna bring all the absolute universes together, and I don't think it's quite clear that the other absolute books happen in the same. I'm just gonna say world, right, or whatever. So you know, we could be dealing with a multiverse kind of a situation right here. And how do we bring all those people together? I don't know. How does Justice League Unlimited tie to this? I don't know. If you've read the latest issue, they got their own problems to worry about, which I thought was going to lead us to the absolute direction. But the people that are causing the drama in Justice League Unlimited don't seem to be tied to the absolute universe at all. So I'm like, okay, so we're just going to let that kind of roll forward a little bit more and jump in and out of it a little bit. You know, Aquaman's chasing Omega symbols and all this weird stuff's going on. I'm like, eventually they're going to tie it all together, but they're going to take their sweet time doing it because they got to roll out all these absolute books and sell these number ones, right? So it'll be a year before we get any kind of understanding probably of where we're going with that. But in the meantime, we're going to be buying 15 books a month related to absolute stuff. So
yeah,
for sure.
I think if they were going to kind of explain that, I think it would be through New Gods, but part of me thinks that's not the title that they're gonna do that with, unfortunately. But I do know where Darkseid is.
Okay.
He's in Sonic's universe.
Oh, sorry.
Sonic.
Is Darkseid currently hanging out with Sonic in the game? Okay.
Yeah, he's what are they? The Emerald Stones or Emerald Gems or something? He's
Chaos Emerald.
He's currently trying to
he's in the chaos. Yeah,
currently trying to steal those from Sonic and Knuckles and all of those guys.
And Tails, which I realized recently was not his real name, right? What was Tails' real name? It was something.
Oh gosh, yeah, I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. That was a really fun, nostalgic book. You know, just kind of a good lightener.
Who was the writer on that one? You know, off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head. No.
Nope.
But it's good. It's very predictable. It's a money grab, and you know they're gonna get all of mine.
Yeah, Sonic just goes to the right the whole time. Yeah,
Eric has a pretty good take on the DC Prime and Absolute Universe talk. Yeah.
I think New Gods is intended to be the connective tissue between DC Prime and the Absolute Universe.
Yeah,
based
for sure.
on Ram's interviews, at least.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome if they did, because I think that would bring a lot of shine to New Gods, which I think, you know, underrated a little bit.
Yeah. Which is crazy that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think New Gods has a stigma to it, right? It's an older property. It's complicated. It's hard to get into, like we've just been saying. So like, and then Ron V is a great writer. He's did a hell of a job on Detective Comics coming out of that recently. He had a great run on that. Kind of divisive though. Like some people loved it, some people hated it. I think that if somebody said, "Oh, look, there's a New Gods book," and Ron V's writing it, maybe they don't know him from his independent work. You know what I mean? But us guys that love his indie work, we're like, can you believe Rom's writing a New Gods book? How freaking perfect is that? That's going to be awesome. And yeah, we've been digging it so far.
Yeah,
it's funny because I loved his Swamp Thing run from a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
So as soon as I saw him doing New Gods, I was like, he's getting these perfect characters, these perfect titles for his writing style, the kind of darker tones he likes to kind of mess around with.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the, there was this couple issues of Venom and Carnage he was writing a little while ago too.
Yeah.
Which I feel like those were the stronger issues of those runs. So I was super stoked. I've always wanted to read more of his stuff, but sometimes I feel like it's hard to know where to land on it.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely give you some recommendations on Rom's books if you want to get into some more of his indie stuff. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, he's got some amazing stuff out there outside the big two. So he has Resurrection Man coming out this week. So yeah, you're at your local shop.
Yep. And Many Deaths of Layla Starr. I think we talked about it a little bit.
One of the best.
2 weeks. And
I got the hardcover right down there in the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope there's some absolute stuff kind of coming that kind of, I don't know. I'm still can't believe we're getting Absolute Green Lantern tomorrow.
Yeah, this week. Yeah, I think I got it right here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Doc, I got you excited for that one? Or you?
Oh
you
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I don't know if Nick will agree with me, but I don't know what's gonna top Martian Manhunter's first issue. That was so
It was
good, and
good.
I don't want to say too much because Sloth hasn't read it yet, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Probably one of my favorite reads in a couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, there's been a couple absolute books that I feel really stuck the landing and understood the assignment for the absolute universe. And it's my interpretation of what the absolute universe should be, right? So
Yeah.
we should take these familiar characters and we should twist them in a way where their core being is still present, but maybe their situation, their circumstances, or their way around executing their mission is very different and maybe darker, because this is supposed to be a darker thing, right? In my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So some books have done that really well, and some books kind of give us more of the same, I think. I
Flash.
feel
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to read Flash again. Maybe I didn't get that one a fair shake, man. I don't know. I gotta read that one again and see what my thoughts are, or just keep reading it.
Yeah.
But like Wonder Woman's amazing. I love. She still has the core character in her, but she's got that freaking dark magic that she's using all the time, and she's that sacrificial element every single issue. It's awesome. And Martian Manhunter is the exact same way. So without spoiling it or anything like that, it does a really good job of bringing that Martian Manhunter vibe into the book and integrating it with John. And it's a trip all the way through, and it's a great pace, and you get to see like this guy change from the beginning of the book to the very end, and it's a great trip the whole way through.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
Read that after the show, Sloth.
Oh, I'm going to, because now I feel
It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, in fairness, Sam Rock has also not read it either.
Oh yeah. We won't do spoilers.
We won't spoil it.
No,
but everybody needs to get on that immediately.
Artwork is good. Stands out.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. It gives me a Silver Surfer Black vibes, similar to that, like really hard color. But you know, the art's like it's really different, but it goes so well with the story, kind of like it did in Silver Surfer Black. You know, it was an adjustment kind of looking at that, but once you read the story, it's like they go hand in hand. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Javier Rodriguez is on the art. He does a really great job. The coloring is amazing in there. And it's a trippy book, man. It's very, very trippy. So I can't wait. I wish I could read it again for the first time. So I envy you guys. I envy you, Sloth.
Oh, I'm gonna savor every page of it now.
There you go. And we're gonna oversell the crap out of it, and you'll come back next week and be like, "What are you guys talking about? This book is trash."
I was gonna ask, is there another kind of book that kind of captured that feeling for you in recent memory as well? That it was like that issue number 1 that just kind of hit different, or
I have to marinate on that one. I don't know.
Right.
There was a couple. Assorted Crisis Events was a really good one too. That was another trippy one where you didn't quite know what you were doing, what you were seeing. There's like a Matrix element to it, almost like what's real, what's not, kind of a thing. And then we, as the reader, go on this journey and we understand what's real and whatnot. So like there's been a couple number 1s that have dropped recently that, you know, we're pretty solid. So, and yeah, Absolute Martian Manhunter was one of them for sure.
Assorted Crisis Events. That only came out a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that one came out, if I can find it on my list, just maybe 3 weeks ago. When did it come out? The 12th, from Dennis Camp.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find that one, because I saw that one on the shelf and I thought, hey, you know, that looks kind of interesting, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's a new one. It's kind of like you know how we talk about crisis events in comics in like the big 2 and whatever, right? So it's kind of like that in an indie scene. It's going to be a story where everything's loosely connected, like an Ice Cream Man kind of an approach. Same creative team, same kind of crisis going on, but the character is going to be switching around a little bit, and there might be some loose threads from issue to issue, but we're going to look at this crisis from a different perspective every issue. So it's kind of cool, and you're kind of a bystander in the world witnessing this chaos. And it's just fun to kind of connect with the main person you're dealing with in that one issue, seeing their experiences. And then the next issue, you're going to have somebody else's point of view. So it's going to be fun to see this build out. And he was saying he's got 50 or 100 issues planned. and same
Wow.
creative team, I think, the whole time. So it'll be an ongoing as long as people buy it.
I think I'm gonna have to check that one out. Then I swear
Yeah.
my shop still got a couple of issues. That sounds okay. Very good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one came out a couple weeks ago. So if folks are still wanting to check it out, it should be relatively easy to find if your shop carries indie books.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc.
Yeah.
Are you guys pretty caught up on like the other Absolute titles? Superman? Is that you guys are still up?
Superman I'm not doing. Wonder Woman I'm not all the way caught up, but after the first time you talked about it, I got up to date on it, and so yeah, I think I need to read issue 5, and then 6 just came out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that's been really good too.
I feel like the Superman. So I think the last issue I read was issue 4, and I think there's 6 out as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really need something. I really hope something happens in issue 5 and 6.
Oh, something happens in issue 5. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
issue 5, something happens.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, from there's 2 plots going on, right? There's that like what happened in Krypton when everything was going to hell, and then there's what's happening on Earth right now and whatever. So it definitely resolves
Okay.
one of those 2.
Because man, I was the first 4 issues. I'm like, you guys got to be doing something. Like something's got to be happening here
I
soon.
know.
And it was just kind of like one event, one thing happens, and it was pretty self-explanatory.
The art's pretty cool in that book. I like his Spawn cape. It's like a nanotech Spawn-ish kind of a cape. That's pretty dope though. I like that.
That's how I felt after like 37 or 38 issues of Gunslinger, right? And I haven't read it since, but I'm still buying it. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, he's got this purpose, this reason he's doing what he's doing. But like, at what point are we going to reach some kind of resolution? Like, this can't just be 300 issues of nonstop revenge, right? And I don't know. Maybe we finally got that, but
Yeah.
after about 37 issues, I was just like, I'm over this for the moment.
37 issues of that. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Just revenge killing. Yeah, I mean,
That's pretty accurate too.
Well, I mean, I'm like a quarter way through Lone Wolf and Cub right now, and that's basically it's revenge meets Assassin's Road kind of stuff. But yeah.
So you're reading that in a collected edition, right?
I have all the issues.
Every individual issue.
Well, they only translated so much, right? So I think there's like 6,000 pages or something like that originally done.
These ones?
Yeah, the first publishing. What is that,
How
like
many-
8 or 9 or something like that? I can't remember what.
This was number 9.
9, yeah.
So this was part of my haul that I was going to show off, but I had 1 through 10, and I've had them for quite a while now. And then at the new dollar bin spot, they had, thousands of dollar books. But they only had 1 issue of this, and it was number 9, which I needed to complete the run of 1 through 10.
All the front covers, nice, yeah.
Which I just thought was kind of cool. The 1 issue I needed to kind of complete
That's
that
insane,
little order, yeah. But I
For
don't.
$1.
It goes pretty far, like
45.
35. Okay.
45. Yeah.
Oh, 45. Wow.
Yeah, I found the first like 15 at a con in Huntsville a couple of years ago, and then my shop later that week got a haul in, and it was the rest of them all the way to 45. So I was like,
oh wow,
lay away, I'm grabbing all of them. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
So I got 1 through 45. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I come from a world of martial arts, so I actually when I was 12 traveled to Japan with my grandfather and trained with the sword master. So I love
No kidding.
I love samurai stuff. And so great books.
They flipped those panels, those pages from the original. So they were, you're probably aware of this.
Yeah.
They flipped them. I have an artisan edition here that shows how it was originally done. And so you can kind of compare them.
Yeah.
That's a really fun time.
Yeah.
To see the difference.
Kayfabe did a great breakdown of that. So.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've watched that, but I would love to get that artist edition that you have.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait, so sorry, I forgot. I picked up this Japanese Spawn. I'm just trying. Now I'm curious if the panels are flipped in this one.
oh
If it was translated, it may have been, right? Because the whole style is different. Depends on what the source material, how it was formatted. You know, if it
Yeah.
was manga style, so they would have to reverse some things and do some translations.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about that in terms of like, yeah, when you're translating a Japanese book to English. But,
Yeah, and I got
Yeah.
even to this day, I got to like try to make that work in my head. you know what I mean? It's like, okay, if I'm reading right to left, and from right to left, and then I got to flip it from left to right, and then I got to remove the things, and so like styles change, right? So like right, like sword positions and stances and everything like that, everything is reversed and weird, and yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and then, I mean, sometimes I'll read stuff. It's unrelated. I'll read it like on my phone, and then I'll read it, regular comic book, and then I go read a manga, and it's like, I get
Yeah,
just
what am I
so
doing? Where am I going? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no physical pages, but anyways. Batman Hush came out as well last week. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I'm curious to know what you got. Have you? I'm guessing Nick's had a chance to read it.
Yeah.
Does it? Am I going to be let down?
What was your opinion? Do you remember a lot about the first run, and then or Hush Returns or anything like that? Like, what's your familiarity with that?
But I read the original Hush.
Okay. Do you remember a lot about it, or like the vibes and the feels, or
Yeah.
do you remember the main points and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the good news is you don't need to know any of that stuff.
Okay.
No. My elevator pitch, my elevator review for Hush 2 was, it feels like they got Loeb and Lee, and right after Hush was done, right? They said, write a sequel to this, and we're going to put it in a vault for 25 years or whatever it was. And then we're going to open it because it looks the same. It feels the same. It reads the same. The damn lettering is exactly the same. The bubbles that they use, they throw everything away from current continuity. Like they maintain the generalness of Batman and his Bat family that are around at the time and whatever, right? The Joker's still around, of course. They maintain all the cliche things.
Yeah.
But they completely throw away Chip stuff. They throw away Tynion stuff. There's no continuation. There's no vibe of continuation.
Yeah.
It's as if they developed a sequel to Hush and sat on it and then just released it randomly in the middle of this transition between creators. So if you liked what you saw in Hush back in the early 2000s, you're going to dig this, I think.
Okay.
Because it's the same thing.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I guess.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I wonder why they would have done that, but I guess it makes sense if they're just trying to capture that story as a sequel, but not put it as its own title and just slap it in the middle of the Batman run.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no respectful opinions about why that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, it's, how do you shit on like Loeb and Lee? You know, how do you, it's hard. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not that kind of channel, right? So it's like, I don't want to do that, but I also will admit when something's not for me. And so like, I'm going to read it and see it. It could blow me away, and I hope it does. But like, I don't know. I wasn't around. I didn't appreciate it when it first came out. I wasn't reading back then. So when I read it in retrospect, I was like, that's a cool story. They threw everything in the kitchen sink in the story, and they misdirected you 1,000 times for whatever reason. And ultimately the Riddler was the guy behind everything, and he's stupid or whatever. So it's like, okay, this is weird. And so here we are again dealing with it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. And, maybe an unpopular opinion, but that's kind of what I was hoping, that it would be more of a sequel and not, not building off of current. But then again, it doesn't make sense why in the middle of this Batman run they decided to just completely essentially go off script. I've been in and out of Batman, so I don't know how it's been up until up until now. But it's almost like they needed to just pick up their Batman sales or something, and like you said, pulled this one out of the vault. But it really should be its own own little mini series or whatever it's gonna be. But
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Chip's run has been okay. It's definitely gone up and down. I was actually excited when Failsafe was introduced because I mean, it's not a super strong plot, to be honest with you. It's like Failsafe's got access to everything, but he can't figure out that Penguin's not dead. It's just, you know what I mean? Like if he just did that, he could have saved so many issues, and so many people's lives. So it's definitely got its holes, right? But it was exciting at least. But some people really hate over the top Batman, and I read comics just to be entertained, So when I see Batman falling from the moon and he survives somehow, I'm like, well, that was cool. It's stupid, but that was cool, So I don't know. I heard the sales for Chip's Batman was kind of going down a little bit. So who
there's our reasoning right there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Paper and Chase Comics, they should have done Absolute Hush.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what's up, John?
I'm curious, if they'll ever do anything along those lines. Like an Absolute Red Hood would be sweet.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to turn their character around and make it worth it, Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's hard to take villains that are edgy and rough and make an absolute version of them. I think that's why Batman doesn't resonate with me too much, the Absolute Batman, because it's like we've seen every Batman story. We've seen every perspective. So it's like, how do you take a guy who's grumpy and vengeful and make an absolute version of him?
Yeah.
That's why Wonder Woman works so well, because she does a different personality and that roughness can add something to her character. So
are you sorry, this is going to be like a bit of a silly question for you, Nick, but are you a variant collector or do you go main covers?
So I rarely cover buy, so it's not exactly your question, but I rarely cover buy. We'll start there.
Okay.
Second, I will look at the different covers, and I will say, based on if it's somebody that I enjoy, obviously I'm going to be getting a B cover and things like that. So I don't chase ratios, or I'm not a collector from like a cover perspective. I'm more of a good story collector. If it's a good story and it's a team I like and it's compelling, I'll buy it. I'm not going to buy stacks of comics that I'm not reading them because I just like the covers on them and things like that. Oh, that's a cool variant, so I'm going to pick it up. Yeah. That's not where I'm going. I'm reading everything I buy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That is the fall of my wallet and bank account for sure. If I see a Peach Momoko, I will buy a Peach Momoko.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have those artists too in my mind though. So I luckily a lot of those artists are writing books or drawing books that I actually read, drawing covers for them. So it works out. But occasionally I pick up a book and just bag it and throw it on my shelf on Wednesday. So
you ever follow stock?
Yes. So I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So obviously you read a lot of current stuff, and so you probably have a pretty massive collection of current. But what do you collect? Like back issues? Do you dive into any of the older Bronze Age stuff? Do you just kind of do that in collected editions or trade paperbacks, or do you like to hunt down single issues of older stuff as well?
It really depends on what it is. So I don't read a whole lot of super old books, right? Like I stay in the 80s and above typically.
Yeah.
I've tried to dip into like some early X-Men, early Spider-Man, and it's just like, guys, go back and read ASM, or go back and read Spider-Man 1, right? Go back and read X-Men 1. Like that's rough. We can all agree that it's great and we appreciate the legacy and how it's matured over time. But like, guys, go read the first 30 issues of X-Men and tell me you're just like, oh, I can't wait for giant sized. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
All respect to everyone that did that, of course. I can't be freaking wearing like a Kirby shirt and be dissing comics back in the day. That's kind of blasphemous as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, 80s and on pretty much. And if it's like a really cool run and it's easy to collect, I'll try to get the single issues. But like most recently, we just started reading Born Again. So we covered that on Eric's channel. I'm trying to hunt down those single issues and like Electro Assassin and things like that. Like some of these runs are really good to have in single issue format. You just can't beat it, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, but collected edition when I need to be
Mhm.
honest. So yeah, I mean, eBay's a great place for that, or your local library, or like or sometimes your shops if they have a decent back catalog.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Quite some time ago, I think Fable did kind of the book club of he was kind of doing the book club thing
Yeah.
where everybody was reading, a series.
Mhm.
And I partook. I mean, I wasn't on a live, but I partook in the chat talking about
Yeah.
year one. And that was a good time. You were probably involved in that one, I'm sure.
I wasn't on that one. I
Okay.
did my own year one top down whole thing. I did all of year one, so that's in my back catalog as well
Okay. Yeah.
for it. But yeah, that's a great series. That's one I have. I think I have year one, year two. I don't know if I have. I'm trying to remember where I go from there. But yeah, I have all those in single. Those are great runs. But I'm a Miller freak, so
Oh yeah.
I like to try to pick up everything I can Miller wise. So
Quickly, Modern Miller.
Oh no. Oh no.
I appreciate the effort. Appreciate the effort.
That's pretty much our stance too.
Appreciate the effort.
It comes up often, so we just had to ask.
I would rather have it than not,
Right.
because then I know he's okay. If he's well enough to work and publish stuff, he's fine. You know what I mean? And I just but I can't say that it's great.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how can you look at Sin City or whatever and then come back and look at this and be like, oh yeah, it's the same, guys. He hasn't gone down at all. It's like, dude, you're no.
I love Ed Pisker's thing illustration, and he does the
Mhm.
after Frank Miller.
Yeah.
I really love that tribute. I think West Coast Avengers, who's a buddy of the channel, owns the original art for that, possibly.
Of course he does. Yeah. They're really tight. Him and that whole crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Stu's got that. I have that 11 by 17 in my portfolio, and then I think Stu's got it in his background. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, he's all crunched up, Dark Knight style. Yeah,
I love it.
he's got a Daredevil cover coming out this week for Cold Day in Hell
Oh, is
from
that
Charles
special?
Soule. Yeah,
Okay.
and that one kind of breaks the mold. So yeah,
Oh wow.
I'm looking
a
for
little
it.
bit. Yeah, see
Oh,
the chat agrees. Yep.
Yeah.
okay. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, it's not as crunchy. You know what I'm saying?
Crunchy. Who came up with that term? Was that
Oh,
Stu?
probably Fable giving me shit
Okay.
about. Yeah, so sorry.
I remember hearing it first on somebody's show. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the lightning the exact same lightning from The Dark Knight?
We don't need to get into the details. No.
Oh, that's great.
He probably just ripped it right from Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's good. That's all. It's not crunchy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, that's funny.
So I do believe that you dabble in some of the figure collecting as well, right?
Kind of, I guess. Like I really like the and I wish I think they discontinued it, or they put a pause on it. The Marvel 375 legend figures, the little Marvel ones with the awesome cardstock cover, cardstock backs, and I have like 40 or 50 of them over here. You can't even see them. And then I think a couple of years ago they're like, we're gonna put a pause on this whole thing for a while, and I don't think they've ever come back. So I appreciate them, but I don't collect them.
They're kind of like the old school Kenner style figures, but
yes, the Kenner ones.
Yeah, those are pretty great. I bet they display well too.
They do. I have them all. It's probably 15 feet of them, and I have it overlapping about halfway back the other direction.
Wow.
So I have them like, I don't know what you call it, but the actual like part that they're inside, that plastic case part that they're inside, it only takes up half the cover, the backer. So I have them all crunched together all the way through. So it's a lot of figures. And luckily my shop was cool and they were able to get a whole bunch of them. So I stocked up on all those things. I love those because they look great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, I think, somewhere around here too. Yeah, they did stop. Why did they stop making that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
because they had like I remember getting the Moon Knight and I think the Nova. I think those are the only two.
Mhm.
But I love those little guys.
You know, towards the end, they started like re-releasing certain things, but they would call them like they came out in waves, like they have 5 or 6 per wave.
Yeah.
And after about 5 or 6 waves of those, you get about 30 or 40 of these damn things, and then they started re-releasing ones, and they would call it a new version, but it was exactly the same mold, same paint, same box, and everything was the same. But they're like, oh no, this is the new one. This is the new Spider-Man one. It's like, no, it's the same one, dude. That came out in wave 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So when they started doing that, I stopped doing them, and then they started packaging them together and selling them as exclusive bundles on the website, but they were the same ones just repurposed for this new package deal, and I'm like, forget it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Then they stopped doing it. So
It sounds like they were trying to get rid of stock.
yeah, I think that's probably what it was. Yeah.
Exactly what it was. Yeah.
But they did a Sentinel too, which is like twice as tall, same exact thing.
Yeah.
And I have that one too. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Marvel Legends reveals today, though. I don't know if we want to talk about it or dive on it. I mean, there's a ton of Marvel news in the last few days, anyways. With again, I don't know if you guys want to touch on that at all.
Sure. Yeah, let's dive into it.
I don't know anything about today's reveals. I've been working all day and doing stuff. I have no clue what's going on. So yeah, this will be great. Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, yeah, let's look at the Marvel Legends stuff because they're finally doing some interesting things. I don't know if you guys remember a few months ago there was a Maximum Spider-Man announced, and that was a figure that was like has all like these extra bells and whistles. Today they announced a Hulk version, and I don't know if there's a picture of it here, but he's got like a softer plastic torso. Actually, like crunch him. I don't know if it's like a good picture of it here, but you can see that you're like kind of like the plastic moves to the arms there.
Okay.
Anyways, for Marvel Legends, that's a really big improvement because some of their guys have such little mobility, and it actually kind of looks like a nice Hulk there. You can kind of see the plastic.
Yeah, I actually watched that video there of him kind of doing all the movements and yeah, really exciting. I don't have a good just general Hulk like that, so I'll be going for that one there.
It makes me worried about the price point.
Oh yeah. They're exceeding $30. Well, that one's probably gonna be over 50, I would imagine.
Well, the Spider-Man one they put out Canadian, I think was $69.99 Canadian. So probably like $49.99 American, and then I'm sure this one will be like $69 American, and then probably like $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got those swappable heads too, the different styles of Hulk.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Kind of like the kind of old bowl cut looking, and a little bit of a cleaner.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they based those off of various artists that have done Hulk.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that looks just like
they may have. I can't see the details too good.
Yeah,
on my phone here.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the nicest looking Hulk I've seen them put out in a while. And with that, of course, they had to do a She-Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I guess that's like the Fantastic Four suit.
Okay.
Yeah. She'll have a couple. So there's like a comparison of the old one and the kind of like pink-ish leotard, and then the new one.
Pretty much
it's the old old like John Byrne style. She-Hulk. That's awesome.
I like that she comes with the alternate hair. Like that tied back looks way better than the hair down.
Yeah. Well, there's that one. What was it? Sensational She-Hulk #1. Like that's her hair. Like that big from Sensational #1. Yeah.
That's then cool. We got a Crossbones and Madam Mask 2-pack, which I'm not sure who is asking for these, but I'm also like, I appreciate that they put them out because someone will buy them, I'm sure, but a bit of a random 2-pack there.
Those are called peg warmers.
Hey man, it's an
Cool.
Amazon exclusive. They're warehouse warmers.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I mean, the
sure
crossbone ones is cool. Like, I don't know how many options do they have for crossbones out there? I wonder. That's interesting.
Yeah.
not too many. You know,
Yeah, it's a niche.
There's at least one other version of him, but yeah. Yeah.
then I'm sure the Mystique is going to be a popular one there.
Yeah,
Who doesn't want a good Mystique figure in their collection?
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Then another Weapon X Wolverine.
Not
You know,
necessary.
not-
We've already got a couple of those.
Yeah.
Another Spider-Man 2 like video game suit there, and then this one goes hard. The Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, it's got that headpiece, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
Samrock said that the Hulk's gonna be $59.99, which isn't terrible, actually.
it's not terrible. No, if it's Canadian, I guess that, or if that's American.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be American. That's got to be American.
Hmm.
There's no that's Canadian. And then the other figures they announced were figures for the Thunderbolts. So I'm assuming.
I saw these. These are terrible.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. We don't even need to. We can just bypass them because they're not worth talking about.
Man.
Oh gosh. And then yeah, Samrock was also mentioning that there's been a ton of McFarlane stuff revealed as well.
I think I avoided all of those.
Are you a McFarlane fan, Nick?
I do have a couple stray McFarlane toys. I have some Walking Dead ones in my shelf over here because I just love the accessories and the poses for them and the guts just spewing everywhere. I think that's pretty fun. So I do have a couple stray McFarlanes here and there for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We're big fans of his DC Multiverse line. Probably a little too big of fans.
Before we show those off, I'll just show part of my haul because it's on the topic. But look what I finally got.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yep.
The Kilowog and the Kyle 2-pack.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah, those are great, man. The quality's really, really good.
A lot of fun. I have too much fun just sitting here posing them for like.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like I know a guy who's got a collection that's incredible when it comes to like figures and rare stuff, right? And I've seen it and I've been to his place and I'm looking at him like I totally understand. I get it. Like but I can't. I've seen guys with Spawn collections where they have cases and cases full of Spawn. I'm just like, guys, I can't get into this. I just can't. I have too many comics. You know, I just can't spend $50 on a figure and put it on the wall. I was like, I have too many vices right now. I can't. But I get it, man. I want to so bad.
Yeah.
Especially when they're putting out some pretty, I think, niche but very welcomed characters. Hal Jordan in the armor suit from Return of Superman. I'm really stoked on the Eradicator from Return of Superman. Like that.
Yeah.
Great figure. Cowboy Batman, a bit of a weird one. Bizarro, classic Bizarro. I think that's going to be welcome.
That'd be a great one, I think, right?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Batman 1 million, kind of another random. And then the Green Lantern Jade, who's a character I don't know anything about.
I don't either.
And then we keep going. Superman New 52, Mr. Miracle.
That Mr. Miracle looks dope. I like that one.
Thank you. Oh,
Sandman coming in as well.
Oh yeah,
that's a crazy to live in a time where we're getting a Sandman figure.
Is that Azrael?
Yeah, we've got another one
Yes.
in his Night Quest look, and then another Cyborg Superman from the Return of Superman.
All those are pretty good. All those are solid. Yeah.
Hawk Girl. We've got a Red Lantern Guy Gardner, another Mr. Terrific, Superman from the Strange Lives. I guess he's a lion. Don't know.
No.
Don't know who's asking for that one. Oh man, where did I go here?
That's crazy. We went from having for years no Guy Gardners to we're about to have 3 now.
Nice.
And here's even some more deeper cuts.
Oh my goodness.
Dark Archer, Dark Stars. Of course, we got Beast Boy, Kite Man, Mirror Master. We're getting. Speaking of new gods, we're getting a Metron,
nice.
and then a Deathstroke.
Is it gonna have the Mobius chair and everything? Like the chair's part of it, right? That's gonna be dope. Okay.
The chair in the back there.
That'd be neat.
And then we've got some Batman.
We got some return stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll have a nice little Danny DeVito and some penguins. And then we've got some more of the page punchers. We've got Dr. Bones from Infinity Inc. number 16. Superboy from Eternal Superman, and then Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman number 1.
We got
Oh man, yeah.
Okay.
I just need that Superboy. I'm so bummed I missed the initial Superboy. Oh my God, there's still even more.
Still going. What?
We got some Nightwing. Oh shit.
Yeah, we got the Bronze Age Nightwing. We've got Monarch. We've got Batgirl Stephanie Brown and Batman from No Man's Land.
Wow.
Stephanie Brown. Wow. Okay.
A couple more of the animated.
Animated. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Another Batman. I think that's like the 7th Batman from the animated series. Grey Ghost, Ra's al Ghul, Killer Croc, and then Jonah Hex.
Nice.
And then more of the little like retro little Kenner superpower guys.
Yeah.
Some more of them. Some statues, and then some Mortal Kombat. Yeah. So lots of really cool stuff from McFarlane coming out in the coming. I don't know. It says summer, but I don't believe it's actually going to be here by the summer.
That's a lot for just a few months from now.
Yeah.
I just remember I have a Batman Year 2 over my shoulder. You can probably see a little blue right there. It's that Batman Year 2 longer with his cape just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, McFarlane.
Nice.
There's a Joker back there too, but I don't know what that's from.
I knew you had some stuff.
I have plenty of, I have tons of figures, but it's just like, it's just not, I just can't get into it, man. I have more Legos and stuff, and I guess on that side it's more like Infinity Gauntlets and more Lego stuff, and so whatever. But yeah,
I can
most of my figures are over there.
Your self-control and staying limited, because
I got a kid, man. She takes up more money, so I can't. I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Landmark says, "Hello, gentlemen. Hello, chat. Please stop introducing me to new things to collect." Well,
that's why you're here.
So sorry.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about the reveals. That Bizarro is cool. I'm gonna need that Mirror Master for my Flash collection. Vito Penguin, yes. But that Batman Year 2 you were mentioning, they're of course they have to be re-releasing it in a black light.
There it is.
Yeah. So this will be a different version than the one you've got, but they're coming out with another
black light.
I think it's just like a black, white, and blue.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I got them. I got them pre-ordered.
Oh yeah. It's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. The only thing I had to fix on that one, it stands a little weird. See, I think it has a detachable arm, so you can get the cape really on there. And then his little bat ears were a little bit like bent in, so you had to put something in there to help space him back out a little bit over time. But everything else is pretty cool with it. It's a fun piece.
McFarlane, I love when they do. He does these weird like half action figure, half statue kind of.
Yeah,
I think they're cool.
I think there's a cloth swappable cape as well, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yeah. Who wants that? You got to have them in that cool, like dramatic pose.
Yeah. Oh man, I guess we're already an hour in. Doc, do you want to do our sponsor?
Yeah, we'll just do a quick plug of them.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, my friend.
Okay. So again, we have a couple of sponsors that kind of just make this show a little bit, a lot easier for us. And so our first sponsor here is Imperial Comics, who I'm sure you all are familiar with by now. But again, I just highly recommend you give them a follow on Instagram. And if you're a pretty, consistent buyer, I suggest you keep an eye on his stories just about every day. He does claim sales in there, individually priced books. Just always great prices, always great books, always constantly a constant rotating inventory. Um, and then on top of that, he's got a website where he's got a lot of, run filler, $5, run filler type books. Just a crazy selection. I think you can get like the full run of Alpha Flight if you wanted to. He's probably got every issue listed, I would imagine. Um, just a great guy, believes in the show and supports us. And yeah, that's about it for him.
And our other sponsor was a wonderful little eBay shop by the name Andho9743, and they were kind enough to provide a giveaway that we were able to give a copy of a graded 9.8 Batman Facsimile 251. We were able to give that away last week to our good longtime viewer Samrock, which will be shipped out to him very shortly here. And yeah, they were kind enough to donate that from this lovely little eBay shop, Andho9743. Lots of great stuff. A lot of modern stuff, exclusives, stuff that's tough to find in Canada. For all my Canadian friends out there, this is a good place to check. If you're just looking for some cool covers to fill out your collection, cheap graded books, yeah, just stuff that's kind of hard and non-accessible for some Canadian folks out there. So this is a great option to check out. Her link will be in the description, and you can check it out. And yeah, I encourage you guys to buy something, spend a little bit of money, treat yourself. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Yeah. So that's those are our sponsors. They keep the lights on on the show, and man, we're just so grateful to them and to the viewers. And yeah, was there that was our spiel. Was there anything you guys wanted to chat about in our last kind of 20 minutes or so here?
Well, did everybody bring a little haul?
I can get one if you put me second or third. I can go scrounge some stuff together. No problem.
Sure. And then if there's anything you wanted to plug as well, Nick, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Comic book reviews and things like that. I mean, yeah, guys. I mean, if you're into comics, I try to cater for everybody, where it's like new stuff or old stuff as well. I'm going through, like I always say, the books on the shelves and every, they're pretty, but they have great stories too. So we should really be involved in those pages. We shouldn't just be staring at covers all day. So let's open those books and let's read them. And if you haven't dived into the classics, go ahead and try them out, man. You never know what you're going to learn from them. You might be seeing things that are happening again, right? We just kind of rehash things over and over again. Great interior artwork in that. It's a whole art that's been lost. We need to preserve that. So appreciate your older books. Open them up, take a look at them, and read them, because you never know what's going to be behind those covers, those pretty covers that we all like to display and everything. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff too, where I kind of crack these books open and go through the stories. And if you don't have access to them or whatnot, you can kind of live vicariously through myself, and we can explore these stories together. So, yep, I got some old stuff, some new stuff, and yeah, I just love talking comics with everybody.
Yeah, go grab a little haul, and I'll just piggyback off of you.
Absolutely.
Again, everybody in the chat, if you're not subscribed to Nick, you should be, and through him, you're gonna discover a whole group of other great guys with channels. 9-Panel Grid is one. A lot of cross content between these guys, but Stu with Dr. Doom's fan club.
Edit all that out.
Yeah.
Edit all that out. Edit all that out. We don't want Stu and Eric to be plugged on here. Anyway,
oh no, I gotta have Stu in there. I love him. Blame Fable and His Amazing Friends every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, just great dudes, really welcoming. Yeah. Screw the comic culture guy. Yeah, so
Uh, I've got a few books to show off really quick. Nothing too
okay.
Maybe if you don't mind, I'll do those really quick.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a stack. I'm out of
Yeah.
control.
This was actually one I gotta ask questions for someone, an adult here. So I picked up the Batman Hush, but it comes with like this weird, like blank, like waxy paper. Does it like do you just rip that off, or is it just anyways? There's the cover, but does anyone know what you do with these
Yeah.
these waxy pieces of paper that cover the books? Do you?
So it's a protective. My understanding is it's a protective sheet because that cover you got is the black light cover, the glow in the dark cover.
Yeah.
You see that from time to time. Batman Full Moon had some of those as well recently, where it was just that white paper cover. I think so. I think
Yeah.
it's just like a protective thing because there might be some gimmick behind it.
Yeah.
That they're just trying to shield it from. That's my interpretation of it.
I'm just like, do you just tear it off, or do you just leave it?
I would just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need.
It does take away from the aesthetic, right? It's just like a blank sheet. That's kind of dumb.
I'm gonna be flipping through and be like, I have no idea what this book is.
Yeah. It's just a blank comic, man. What the hell?
A couple more of the Peach Momoko kimono variants. I am actually reading this book. This one I just grabbed because I was like, she's creating.
Yeah.
And that's the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four right there.
Nice.
That's great.
Then also the start of the Fantastic Four versus Godzilla stuff. These dope, almost like poster looking covers. So
it's like boxing homage cover, kind of like posters. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so dope.
Yeah.
So I'm just collecting that run of just all those covers.
Yeah.
And this was a stupid one, but the Harley Quinn Fartacular Silent but Deadly #1. This is in a poly bag because I believe it smells.
It's a scratch and sniff.
Yeah, I'm scared to open it. So
it's awful. Don't do it.
I'm not gonna
oh my god.
Smells like rotten eggs. So if you want that wafting in your
maybe I'll just open it, like put it by my girlfriend or something and see what if she knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one it was just a funny cover and a funny gimmicky book. So
yeah.
A lot of gimmicky stuff on my end this week.
There you go.
Yeah. Would love to see what you picked up, Nick.
So I just grabbed some stuff. Tried to be topical with it. We talked about Lone Wolf and Cub. They actually have these little manga versions, these little tiny things from Dark Horse. And so I'm reading the single issues and I'm flipping through these. Like I grabbed volume #1, and we don't even get to the first issue until like that far into it. So I don't know if this is in order or not. I got to do more research on it because Assassin Road is on page 267, and that's issue 1 on the first publishing ones or whatever. So I don't know if they're out of order or if they actually found some earlier text and then they translated it and they put it in the Dark Horse editions. I don't know, but there's tons of these, and I have #3 coming. They sell whole lots of these on eBay for like hundreds of dollars, and these are only a few bucks a piece, but like when you put that many together, it adds up for sure. So I'm trying to build these out.
Were those printed before the
That's a good question.
That
is a good question. Let me see. 1995. This is a 4th. If I understand how American publications are written, so we have 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 8, 6, and 4. I think that means it's a 4th edition. I don't remember.
Huh.
Yeah, so this is 1995. I don't remember when the single issues came out. Actually, I got
single issues came out
87.
87, yeah.
Yeah, so this came out before.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. That's pretty cool though. So I'm trying to collect these little styles right here. And then we talked about the gallery edition. So here's the gallery edition to kind of give you a sense of scale here. So this is really, really cool.
Wow.
It has the original page on this side. Whoop, whoop. And then it has the translated page on this side, so you can actually see the flipping of the images and things like that. So I don't know, it's hard to tell from here, but you can see that the guy's on one side and he's on the other side of the other panel.
And
So-
a lot of detail was lost.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
But this edition's beautiful. It's really really great, and yeah, I highly recommend that. That's something that it's kind of grown on me over the years. You know, I was reading comics, and then all of a sudden I started paying. And it was probably because of Ed, you know, and Jim. But I started paying more attention about the craft and everything, and so like I got more interested in original art, artisan editions, gallery editions, and like it kind of opens up the whole world a little bit. I have like Sin City, and I have Year One down here, and I have Extremity down there. So like I love those things. They're few and far between because they're so expensive, but like when you get them, you cherish them and you flip through them all the time. So digging that.
Yeah, that's great. I need to get that one for sure.
Speaking of Kirby, we got some Fourth World Absolute.
Oh,
So this is one of like two that I have. I don't even know how many they have, but they're giant. They collect everything, and they're like a little extra, you know, sized. You know, they're a little bit bigger than a standard comic, but it's got this great little cover for it as well, which is a mother box that it fits inside of. So yeah, that's a really really cool thing. I can't wait to get into that and really understand the world better, to be honest. We talked about Ed. They just came out with the Cartoonist Kayfabe Illustrated first volume Greatest Hits.
You got one. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So you could reach out to the family on Instagram, at Piscor's Legacy. Just send them a DM, and you can probably still get your hands on one. They just started sending these out.
They're sold out right now, but
they're sold out. They got to put them back in print.
They're going to. But like, I mean, within an hour, I think they were sold out.
As soon as I saw that, like I have certain people with the notifications on, and so like that's one of them for sure. And as soon as it came up, I was right in there. And one of his sisters, I think, is moderating that, and so went ahead and took care of that. And they went to IC3 shortly after that. So
yeah.
Then to wrap it up, if you're a viewer of the channel, you probably know that I'm a big proponent of superhero comics. So Monty Keene is the artist and writer for all of these. I got a stack of his books over here, but his most recent one is The Martin Man, which is the untold story of Wolverine's youngest brother. And so here he is. He's the runt of the litter, and he is trying to make a name for himself in Canada. And it's an absurd story. Some of his books are for mature audiences. There's another bootleg coming out that is for sure the case, but he's building an entire universe right now full of characters, and they're incredible books. So if you're into like independent self-published titles, go check out Superhero Comics, and you can see what he has to offer. Pretty much everything is great, but if you need some recommendations, you can reach out to me. And in fact, we talked to Madi last night on my channel. I recorded it, so I need to edit it still, so it's going to be coming out very, very soon.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, so that's the second time he's been on the channel, so it's really cool to talk to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my little show and tell for tonight.
That was great, man. Well, like I said earlier, new shop opened up in town, much needed. We've kind of been deprived for a little while. This guy had a booth at an antique store about a year ago, and he only had it for like a month. It was very short-lived, and it was really devastating when he was just kind of abruptly gone, because basically everything is $1, and you can get some really good hits there. It's not like your typical junky dollar bins. There's actually some great stuff, as you guys will see here shortly. But anyways, he got a storefront, and had his grand opening on Friday. And I have a group on Facebook for my local comic book community, and so I promoted the heck out of it, and told everybody to bring a short box, maybe even bring 2, fill it up. Let's support this guy. Let's get some community building going here, and embrace a good thing, because we haven't had much option for a while. So, anyways, I did fill a short box on Friday, and then today on my way home, I had to stop there again, and I picked up like another 60 books. So,
Yeah, I had to stop. Very nice choice of words right there. I had to stop.
Yeah.
I'm going
I had
home.
to.
Yeah.
I had
Sure.
to.
I know. Hey, this is a safe.
So picked up about 300 books from him in the last handful of days.
That's great.
Boy.
Firstly, on the topic of cartoonist kayfabe and the kayfabe family, not something I live in a small town, so we don't see a lot of stuff, but a lot of obscure stuff. But Jim Mafood, I
Yep.
found some of
Hide
his
that from
works.
Eric. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's an old one.
Yeah. Don't see his stuff too often around town. These
Especially
are
that. I don't think I've never seen that in the wild. I don't think. You
Yeah.
might see some Girl Scouts and stuff like that, but like that Generation X,
Yep.
yeah, that's a little older, man.
98.
There's a great story behind that too. There's a great story behind that. Trying to remember where I heard it from. He has an interview where he talks about that whole thing. I'm sure Eric knows it, but he tried to pitch that book or a different story or something like that, and something it was a great origin for that book.
Yeah, I actually I recognized the art right away and immediately saw his name and had to pick it up, but I'm not familiar with it, and I'm excited to jump into this tonight.
Yeah.
And these are just roughly what I would consider highlights. I made a reel which showed some of the other stuff, but again, all dollar books and like full series. X-Men and Micronauts 1 through 4. um it's all there for $4. Another one, we were talking about year 1 and year 2. I could have so I got year 3,
Year 3, yeah.
all 4 issues. He had so many of each of these issues. I could have probably gotten 10 runs of this.
Wow.
Um
That's great.
Another one, pretty pricey book.
I love that one. Yeah.
For $1.
Yep.
I think I showed one of these off not too long ago, but again, for $1, it's it's got some.
What the
That's
heck?
insane.
Spine
That book got
tickets,
ridiculous. That book got ridiculous a little bit ago.
That's whoever he bought it from. That's the price they had on it.
Yeah. I bought that book for $8 on the shelf at one of the first shops I started going to back in like 2015 or so.
Yeah.
And I bought it for $8, and I was like, I'm spending $8 on a freaking comic. This is insane. Well, that stupid book went to like $100 at its prime.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it's strictly just because it's the key significance is it's the first fight between Deadpool and Wolverine. But actually, I recommend anyone read it for yourself, but Ed and Jim do a breakdown of this book and just completely rip it apart. Yeah. If you can find that video and watch it, it's quite hilarious, and kind of they had this thing called the kayfabe effect where they would talk about a book and sales for it would go crazy, or they'd have somebody like Jim Mafood on and talk about a project he's working on, and by the next day 50 people bought the book. It was a real thing.
I did it. I know.
They're now, anytime I see this book for a good bargain, I'm gonna pick it up because of the kayfabe effect. I believe this is the first Jason Todd.
It's
or
what is it, like post-crisis something? Yeah, I have that signed by Marv over here somewhere.
Wolfman. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because I think it's a Perez, because it didn't I think Perez was on it, but then I sent away because Perez had a big CGC signing, and he passed like weeks after the deadline, and he never got to fulfill the signing event. And then Marv Wolfman stepped in and he signed all of Perez's books if you wanted him to. And then they graded them and sent them all back. So I got a bunch of books back with Marv's signature on it instead of Perez's, which is still cool. But that's one of them right there. That Lonely Place of Dying whole run is a very interesting story.
How long ago was that?
I don't know. It was a couple of years. I mean, it was right when he died, right? Right when George Perez died. So
Yeah, it's been a while.
I feel like it's been a few years now, right? So
yeah, so I would say 3 years ago, I caught Wolfman at a con here and got a few books signed by him, and then like just a few weeks later, he kind of announced his retirement of traveling to cons, and that he was just going to kind of stay local to. I think he's in the California area. So I was just really grateful to kind of see him at one of his last traveling cons and get some stuff signed by him.
To your point, I recommend going to your cons. If you have some old timers, man, showing up to your cons, go see them.
Definitely.
You just don't know who's going to be here next year, you know.
Right.
And it's sad to say, but that's how it is. So if you see Jim Starlin, if you see Shooter, if you see these guys, you know, hey, if you see Claremont, go up to them, man. Spend some time, hang out in the line.
Yeah.
And they love talking. So just ask them, tell me a story, and they'll tell you a story, you know?
Yeah. Steranko's another one. I saw him.
He's a character. Yeah.
He is definitely. And he'll tell you some stories for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one I've probably showed off before, but it's a book I can't pass on anytime I see it. This is Ed does a great breakdown of this too. So,
okay.
Ed and Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually have never read this, but I found the first 5 issues of this Nova series.
Yep.
Which I feel like, again, for $1 a book is just an insane bargain.
Yeah, I haven't read that one.
So I'll be jumping into that, and he has more, so I'll see if it's worth picking up more. And then kind of off of the tail of that last Batman book, man, Mignola on Batman, I just can't pass on it. He doesn't have anything to do with the interiors or the writing or the interiors of this little 3-issue run, but 3 great covers by him.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't pass on it.
He's the master at like shadows. Like you can instantly tell right away.
And this story might be terrible, but we'll find out. That these are total cover buys. Just any Mignola Batman that I don't have, I'm gonna get.
For sure.
So last week, right before the show, I'd hit my $2 bin spot, and I got a couple issues of the Finch Moon Knight run. It was like 2, 3, and 4. Well, I found issue number 1, so I kind of got a little sequence going there.
Hell yeah, great read.
And then that's a good series. I have paperbacks of that. So kind of what I do when I jump into an older series, I'll try out the paperback, and if I enjoy it, then for some reason I've got to collect the single issues, which I won't ever read because I'll just read the paperback, right? But yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
I'm a weirdo. And then lastly, I'll just shout out another awesome seller on Instagram, A1's Comics. My buddy Aaron, he just sells incredible books. He kind of specializes in like higher end stuff. He always seems to have a copy of Giant Size X-Men #1, and he gets a lot of Mark Jeweller's books. And right now I'm working on my Marvel Team Up run.
Yeah.
And so he had 4 Mark Jeweller's issues of that. So I picked them up just to throw
those
them
claws. Look at those claws.
And that's his logo. Yeah, look at those.
Jeez.
Force perspective, like right in your face.
That's awesome. Oh, great cover.
Man
I love the
Thing.
team ups. They're just, they're fun. You
Yeah.
mash up a couple characters that maybe typically you wouldn't see together and throw in one of their cool villains and just fun stories.
Nice.
And then just the last three, kind of some bigger books, some early 100 Amazing Spider-Man with Doctor Strange.
That's cool.
Kind of chipping away at like 100 through 300. And then this classic issue
Oh,
where Doctor
wow.
Doom steals Silver Surfer's powers. So
That's a great one. Yeah.
yeah. And then lastly, Sloth, this is gonna make you jealous.
Oh man.
First appearance of Reverse Flash,
Dang.
Professor Zoom. Yeah. So that's a little bit of my last week's haul.
Damn. Okay.
Those dollar
Right.
bills treating you well.
They
Yeah.
are, we've been deprived for a while, so it was nice. Usually have to travel to get a haul like that, but
Yeah. You came away with a lot of good stuff, man. Jeez.
Well,
job.
we're at that hour and a half mark here, so I think this is probably a nice little time to wrap her up.
yeah.
Samrock saying, "Oh my God, jealous of that Flash comic. Was looking to buy it on eBay the other day. I don't even want to know how much that thing's going for on a good day, but
I paid it in installments. We'll just say that.
hey, smart man. So thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us for this last little bit here. It was just so much fun to pick your brain on all these different topics.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a blast hanging out with you guys. Yeah. I love sitting around talking comics and, talking whatever. So, yeah. And anytime you want me back, just let me know. It's been a pleasure, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. We would love to have you back. There's probably a little list of people we want to run through. I'd like to get Eric from Nine Panel on. He's another one. I really enjoyed your guys' breakdown. What was it? It was
We did Precious Metal. We did
Precious
Little
Metals.
Bird. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look forward to more of that. And just thanks
sure.
again for coming on and showing us little guys some love and
Oh,
being as supportive as you have as well. It's very
yeah.
encouraging and inspiring.
Yeah, guys. I mean, every single one of us started with nothing, and we just turned the camera on and we just started talking about our thoughts about stuff, and that's exactly what you guys are doing, and you guys are doing an amazing job at it.
Yeah.
You're already structured. You guys are very insightful already, and you guys are killing it. And I can't wait to see what episode 100 looks like. And just do things, create things that you want to see. Right, whatever you think is interesting, just do that. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Make things that you would want to see. Be true to yourselves, and yeah, just share your passions, guys. That's what you're doing now. Keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it and your time.
Absolutely.
And thank you for everyone who watched and tuned in and commented and liked and subscribed and hit the little bell that notifies you of things. You can find us on Instagram. I'm sure you can find Nick on Instagram and YouTube's and all the things. Is it just Comic Culture Nick?
Yeah. If you type in Comic Culture, you'll probably see my logo, Nick Comic Culture on Instagram. I think Comic Culture on YouTube, and those are the two platforms I'm on right now. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys again next week for another episode of Paper and Plastic. All right.
Cool.
See you guys.
See ya.
Guys.
Bye.